podcast episode, everybody.
Hey.
Guess I need to introduce Clif Davis, Tineka Fitzgerald,
Yes.
and Jaelon Harris. So let's have a discussion. Let me get a sip because I already don't know where I'm going with this conversation.
Well, we're gonna go with you.
I'm gonna follow unless you get in the ditch somewhere.
Yeah. Well, first I think we should just talk a little bit about the song and music video that we're promoting with this podcast. Clif, you you wrote the song, and I wanna hear it from you, how you kind of started the writing process, how it came to you, and how that transpired.
Well, the song it pretty much wrote itself, which is really not a good thing because of all the things that have been transpiring here in the past few years. Well, it's been going on forever, but what it is technology, cell phones and stuff like that has kind of put the camera on it. Police brutality and the unfortunate murders of so many people of color. And so the reason I say the song wrote itself is because just simply thinking about the lives that have been lost, all I have to do is really just pick up the pen. I was asked to write something that would help show support of the Black Lives Matter movement. And so that's what I did. I just sat at the piano and just took a few minutes to think about like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Mike Brown. I could go on forever. Ahmaud Arbery. And it wasn't hard to put it in a song form, just the things that have happened, just expression, just how I feel about what has happened. I just wanted to write something that would be a tribute to them. I wrote the song, I think, in maybe 10 minutes, the actual lyrics, and the music just came to me maybe in like 5 minutes. So like I say, it wasn't hard to write. It was more so emotional to write. The fact that I'm writing something that's unfortunately true,
Right.
So yeah, let me take a sip also.
Yeah, you should. You look good doing it. Well, I do think that you should also kind of enlighten us on how Jaelon and Tineka became a part of the song, and how the whole video kind of transpired. We'll bring you two into it.
Oh, great. Well, I wanted a male voice for the song. I wanted a black male for the song. And Jaelon, I've always been a fan of his vocal. I've always been a fan of his skill. And I did a show at Clemens, Clemens Art Center, and ran into Jaelon. And this was some time ago, way before COVID. And I told him I wanted to work with him and I wanted to write some stuff for him. And I'm sure he thought that I forgot about it. But when this song came up, I thought of Jaelon. I thought that his voice would be great for it. And I shot him a text and he said, I told him, the idea behind it. Yeah. And he said he was down. And I was like, yes. Jaelon came over and I sat at the piano and I sang the song to him. And I think I went through it once and he picked it up so quick, and he added his own style to it.
How about we hear it from you? Clif, this isn't all about you right now.
God.
I'll sit back and sit.
Well, I'll tell you what. Being a part of a project like this is super incredible, and it's also sad in a way for me. I'm 20 years old in 2020. It's like I guess reliving what I learned about growing up.
Wow.
In a way is super stressful. It's like I'm just really responding once again to the climate of my surroundings, and it's tense. I like music, so I think music is this gap. It bridges the gap between all this like racial injustice and this discrimination that's like run rampant, I think, really on an upswing since like 2016, the recent president. I just feel like he's provided an awful avenue for that. And to do this, I think is extremely important. But I don't think it's the end.
No, surely
Do you
not.
know? I don't think it's the end.
Unfortunately.
Surely not.
Unfortunately, I think it is unrealistically optimistic until we until there are more people like yourselves
and like you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shannon HUSHTALK.
But people who actually want to address social issues through their art.
Yeah.
And art is the one thing historically that preserves our hurdles, what we conquer, our struggles as a human species. Art is the language that it does not, it's not stratified anywhere.
Right.
You know, art is universal across all cultures. And it doesn't see color. It doesn't see politics. I mean, you could put your politics in it, but art on its own merit is the best thing that we have as an inverse of political science. You know, it's a whole different thing. It's for the people.
Right.
By the people.
Yeah.
Really.
And Shannon, I didn't say about Tineka. Tineka, we sang and performed together for a long time. So Tineka's always my go-to. So we could also have the black woman perspective.
I'm not feeling the sincerity right now. You're getting a cell phone call in the middle of our podcast.
Right.
But it's on silent. It's not coming through.
Sorry. It's in charge.
Yeah.
Is that a 10?
That's
got the 10X?
That's the XS.
That's nice.
XS Max. Oh no, they're on the 12 now.
I have the 8. I'm on the 8.
I'm on the 11.
Yeah, I'm behind.
My battery life is awesome.
Mine
on
is
the
not.
8.
I believe you. I
My
want to go
battery
back
life
to an
sucks.
Yeah, the 8's gnarly. But yeah, you were saying about having a female vocal
Right.
coming in somewhere in the song, and I think that's absolutely the right way to go as far as like.
Yeah, and she brought so much to it. You know, she brought that perspective of because this is not just a black male issue. This is a black people issue for black women and black men, like Breonna Taylor and so many other names.
Sandra Bland.
Yes, Sandra Bland. There's so many others, you know. So thank you, Tineka, for jumping in and doing what she does. And they're so fast, man. They pick up so fast. They're so quick. Before I can even write it good, they're already putting life to it.
Yeah. That's the amazing aspect and spirit of collaborating.
Collaboration.
I do think that it would be valuable to me and the audience as well to hear any sort of anecdote that any of you three might have as far as experiencing some microcosms of this larger issue on your own. Like in your own life, have you experienced racial discomfort by, ignorance across different racial lines? And if you have, don't rush into it all at once.
Yeah,
Take your time, slow walk it.
But I know a story you told me at one point, and I do think that would be valuable for the audience if you're willing to tell us that story.
Which one?
The one you told me a long time ago was about you on your way to see your dad from work. It was like in Wycliffe.
Oh yeah. That's just a little minor story there. But I can tell that real quick.
I'd rather have a major story, but be thinking of yours.
I am.
Cliff's gonna go first.
You want a major story or you want a minor story?
I want you to choose.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's sad that I have so many. You know.
It is.
And just about every black man, I'm sure, does.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I do this quickly? Well, when I was I've talked about this on my social media because sometimes I can be kind of vocal on social media.
Make sure you look into their eyes at least once and show them your pretty face.
Oh, is that what that is over there?
Yeah.
Good. When did you put that there, Dallas? That's been there the whole time?
Yeah, they're watching you.
Hi. My name's Clif. No, so I was a mailman, and this was 1994, 95. Out of college. But yeah, I'm a little old.
It's like a dinosaur.
But so long story short, to get extra hours, I started training as a rural carrier. And so the post office had me being a rural carrier, that's like out in the country, out in the sticks. in Villa Ridge, Illinois, Pulaski, like around the Mounds, Illinois area. This is all like maybe an hour from Paducah. And at any rate, I believe I was told several times that I was the first black carrier at that office, especially the Villa Ridge post office.
You can talk about this now.
Okay, yeah. I know I've done this before.
Have you?
I've done
Podcast?
this before.
Okay.
I just forgot about the camera.
I haven't. It's my first time.
But the thing is, it's so sad that I didn't think much about it. I'm young at the time. I'm like 19, 20 years old. And I got to experience racism firsthand because I was delivering mail to, I'd say in that area, I don't know the percentage, but a lot of white people did not want a young black boy. How vocal can we be on this? Are we good?
Uncensored.
and
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay. But yeah, they didn't like that, and I've never been ignorant of the fact of racism. I've always had a pretty good understanding and handle on it. Because I always talked to I was blessed to have my great grandmother in my life, and I talked to my grandparents a lot. And I've always just been a researcher, a reader. But to experience it firsthand was completely different. You know, they would call the post office and complain and tell the postmaster they didn't want me delivering their mail. And
Holy shit.
yeah. And I had a few run-ins with several of them. And the thing is, some of them were considered predominant people. I look like I don't know who I'm talking to. Some of them were considered predominant people in the area. So to find out that people like that actually had those type of viewpoints was an eye-opener to me. I'm like, wow, so you're sitting in a position on the city board and you're racist, or you own this, you own that, you own half those farmers out there. You know, I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was unpleasant.
What year did you say that was?
This was 94, 95. I'd say 94, 90, definitely 94, 95.
And to give a little bit more perspective for people, like literal slavery in Johannesburg, Africa, apartheid was ending in 1994.
Yeah,
That's when it ended. Like, we're talking about literal slavery in my generation too.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of that type of stuff ended literally, but realistically, it
not in the
lingers
US,
on.
but it was still like.
Yeah, you know, like the Jim Crow days. You know, that's all. A lot of people consider that done with. You know, 90% of the time, people that are not of color consider that done with. But we still experience the ramifications of it today in 2020. So you know.
What about you? You have a story?
I do. Well, it's pretty recent. It's 2018.
Because you have another unique perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have what is quote unquote called intersectionality.
Mm-hmm.
You are black, male, and homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me some sort of. I want you to tell us about an experience that maybe intersects all of those things.
All three?
Maybe you don't have all
Also,
three.
they haven't gotten me there yet.
Yeah,
They
maybe
haven't
you don't.
gotten. Yeah, they haven't gotten me.
Keep
Yeah. Well, there's one in 2018. I was a senior in high school, and we were at lunch, and they were serving, I think, maybe some chicken wings, mashed potato, greens, and
Where?
at Tillman.
This shit was not at Lone Oak. I tell you that.
It was at Tillman. Paducah Tillman High School.
Wings and greens. This was not at Lone Oak.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That sounds
And-
good.
Fried chicken.
One of these guys at the lunch table, he looks at me. He's like, "What are you eating?" I was like, "My food." And he points at it. He goes, "Those are nigger greens." At the lunch table
Oh, wow.
in 2018.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm serious. Yeah. And the administration, of course, did nothing about it.
Swept it under the rug.
Right.
You know how they.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Less than 2 years ago.
So was Don Shively?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Mr. Shisley himself.
Here's a wing. Oh.
You know, like I've actually interviewed him a couple different times for projects in the past.
I'm sorry.
When I worked for a marketing agency, and what's different about my perspective on it, because of who I am, perhaps what I look like, I may have gotten a completely formalized, polite version of this person. But I want to know, like, whenever you see somebody of his stature, where he works, at the level position that he works at, are there any, do you feel like there's any redemptive quality about people like that when they do, when something comes out about them like that?
Any redemptive quality?
How do you internalize that, and how do you think about it?
I sincerely believe a person can be remorseful or regret something that they've done, but that doesn't take away the fact that they did it. I mean, in this situation, in this platform, I mean, they'll pull up something on a black person from 40 years ago just off of hearsay with no evidence at all, and you'll be fired. So I don't know him that I know of. I know a lot of people that I don't realize I know, but I don't think I know him. But he could be sorry for what he did, but you still need to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
For what you did because of your position. You're
an educator.
You did it while he was an educator.
And the funny thing, he was using it as a bookmark. He was using the picture as a bookmark. That's
That should have been destroyed.
in 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
Today. So it's like, where's your mind?
The
now?
way that I, from my perspective, the way that I see these things is out of complete ignorance.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I have a hard time. It's obviously it's a little different for me being a white man, and wanting to kind of like measure the level of offense, but there is no reference point that I could ever have to really know the level of offense that actually causes. So in one school of thought, I actually was thinking like, you can't undo what's published on social media.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless if you're sorry or whatever. And from my perspective, it's more or less like you do have to be held accountable, but is this the way? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. You mean like should he lose his job because of it?
Well, I'm not even suggesting that. I mean, no matter what, the consequences professionally and occupationally are separate from the public humiliation.
Right. Definitely.
So because he victimized by creating a comedy out of something that is very sensitive, but doing it as predicated off of complete historical ignorance, in an educational context.
Yeah.
The storm is actually perfect.
Definitely.
So I'm wondering what all three of your perspectives are on, and we'll have you jump in, like what all three of your perspectives are on the consequences of things like that being handled and being held accountable professionally and occupationally, but what about socially and publicly? Because that can't be undone.
You know what, Shandon? I hate to say it, but now he's going to know what we feel like. He's marked now because it's out there and it's not going away. He can't wash it off. He can't pay his way out of it.
Right. Okay.
He's marked. So just like the skin that we're in, and we're judged because of it. He's going to be a minority. He's going to be one of us now.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, by his own. Yeah, not, eventually the black people are going to forget, as long as they feel something has been done about it and they feel heard, they're going to move past it. but it's going to be his own.
I think that's a very good perspective.
It really is.
Good piece to put in there. And I do appreciate too the fact that you made a point to say that that type of ideology is going extinct. It is becoming a minority, so to speak, on its own. You already hinted on one thing, though, that when you get certain people elected in office, these types of things almost become enabled. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm being conservative with that statement. But I think now is a good time for you to give us one of your stories.
Yeah. I've had quite a few, you know, being black and being a woman. I've had quite a few. One of my major things, I used to be a deputy jailer. That was my profession.
Wow.
And I was the only black employee at the time. But you know, most of the inmates, most of those that are incarcerated are people of color. I got to experience from my coworkers the disrespect, the racism in my face, not just to what I would consider my brothers and sisters. Somebody could be in there for check writing or because they failed to pay their child support or a minor drug charge. And my school of thought when I went into the profession is they could be anybody, you know, they could be my uncle or,
Right.
you know, they could be my sister. That could be, you know, one wrong turn. And of course, especially when it comes to people of color, the charges are a lot stiffer and harder than they are for white people, unfortunately. But I actually was terminated because I was terminated, not because of my job performance. Matter of fact, I got promoted within 2 months. I went from just being the deputy jailer to the actual booking officer. So once I was doing that, you know,
Did you get a raise?
I don't recall a raise, no.
What?
Promoted, but no raise.
So you got promoted with no raise?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, at the time, I felt blessed and privileged to be in the position. I was the only black. I was the only black female. So as long as I was working and I had benefits and I had pay and I had my title.
What year was that?
This was 2005 in Hopkins County. So I had some co-workers. They were younger white males. Of course, you know, they joked and joshed around, you know, when it came to the black inmates, and they would make references. But I'd gotten tired of it. I'd gotten tired of them treating the other inmates like that. You're there to basically secure, you know, make sure everybody's safe and hold the fort down. That's what you're not there to judge on why anybody's there or any of that. But they'd gotten comfortable. I was black bees. I was black hoes. I was black.
You can say bitches.
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, that's right. She's a minister of music.
I'm not going to say that, but I was those names, and you can only take so much. Like, I'm coming, I'm working, I'm giving my all, I'm being fair. I'm being fair to my coworkers, I'm being fair to the inmates that I'm in charge of. And I had just had enough. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to take it to my superior. I'm not going to say anything back. You know, I'm not going to make this a hostile environment for anybody else. Let me follow the chain of command because I know they got me.
Right. So what you're saying is I'm going to be a professional, right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so I did that. I reported it. And what they did was I want to say my schedule was like I worked 6 to 6 on third shifts, but it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I was off every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which worked for me because I was a minister of music at the time. So I had my Sundays free, and, you know, I had time to, you know, rehearse and do that thing, and I could continue to do my music ministry. So they called me into the office, you know, and I'm before this board. So I was like, oh, wow, thank you, Jesus. You know, that they're listening to me. They've heard me. We need to change your schedule. You know, since you're having an issue with him, we're going to change your schedule. So we're going to put you on the weekends.
Yeah.
And we're going to take you back to deputy jailer instead of booking officer.
Yeah.
And, you know, so there won't be any confusion. He'll stay in his place.
So
He'll stay on his shift.
Punishing you.
Yeah, so I
You
got
got a
punished.
schedule change and demoted
Yeah,
Wow.
after being promoted.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is fucked.
I took it to NAACP. I was like, how they flip this on me? Like, I'm not the issue. I'm doing my job and doing my job well.
Yeah.
How did they flip this on me? So the first Sunday that it came, you know, I had already talked to NAACP, and they had already started investigating it. So I think their thing was waiting for me to call off Sunday because they changed my entire shift. Now I couldn't go to church. I couldn't do the music ministry for the church that I played for. So they shifted my schedule. And so I did call in because I felt that it was unfair, and I did NAACP. So I guess I was terminated because I called in, even though there was a system, there's levels to that. You don't get terminated on your first call in, and you haven't had an issue with tardiness or calling in. So once NAACP got involved, they basically told me that it was too much for them and that they needed to terminate my employment. They said that it was due to my call off for that first shift where my shift changed.
Sounds like it's that skin you in.
It's the skin that I was in, most definitely. So that just kind of, even though I grew up in Muhlenberg County, so I mean, it's predominantly white. It is sticks. It is country. It is all of that. So I've been exposed to racism my entire life.
Right.
But to be an adult and, you know, get a decent job and feel like, you know, I'm making a difference. I'm going somewhere. I'm beating the system, you know, what would be expected. No, you work at Dairy Queen, baby. You know, no, you're not going to do a little job like that, you know. So I'm beating all of that. You know, I've graduated. I'm in a position. I want to take it further. I want to go into criminal justice. I want to make and they squashed all of that for me. The way that they treated me, it was no longer criminal justice. I wasn't taking it any further. I didn't want any parts of it. So that's
Wow. I didn't know
one of my
Yeah.
that's one of my major
Yeah.
experiences, and it changed my whole outlook for every job after that.
Well, it sounds like it changed your career trajectory too, like
Oh, it did.
completely. Because it sounds like you were in a position to be inspirational, you know, which you still are.
Yeah.
Definitely don't forget that, just as a singer, first
Thank you,
and foremost.
Shandy.
And you're welcome. But definitely as a singer, and now for the place that you do work for,
Yeah.
you are a source of inspiration.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
Miss Fitz.
Hey.
Fitzgerald.
So if I could add this though, because at the time I was young, I was early 20s. Now I'm 41 and I'm raising 2 black sons. And just the dynamic, you know, I'm recently married, but I've been raising them alone. So a black woman raising black sons and the things that you have to teach them, even at 5 and 8, you would think that that would be later on for 16,
Right.
17, 18, that you become a man. I have to tell them, like, you know, they love Nerf. They love Nerf footballs, Nerf guns. They can't go in the front yard and play with a Nerf gun. Who was it? Tamir Rice? You know, the young
Yeah,
kid that
yeah.
was gunned down over a play gun. You can't.
In a
I don't
playground.
care. And we live in a decent neighborhood. I'm not comfortable, even with me being out. Well, mommy, why can't we? You know, you can play together inside, but you can't. No, you can't play with a Nerf gun, or you don't have to watch what I say in terms of police. Yeah, they are here to protect and serve, and you know, I have an uncle who's the chief of police. My grandmother's retired deputy jailer. My mom works in the justice system, so she works in corrections, and I can't give them that side because I know little black boys grow up to be black men. And you know, walking in stores, get your hands out of your pockets. You know, just little things like that would just be normal thing. You know, kid walking in the store, get your hands out of your pockets. Put that down, don't do it. You know, and I'm watching, you know, I'm telling them things as little 5 and 8 year olds.
I will partially have to say that just being a boy, you want to touch everything.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
get you
you
want to
do.
get into shit.
Just
You do
being a
wanna-
boy.
Yeah, you do want to get into shit.
But it's different when we get ready
Touch
to walk
us
out of the
again.
store and we've been followed and maybe not known it. Then
Yeah.
stop them, or the police coming and thinking that my kid and put a piece of gum in their, and you know that could quickly escalate. We could get shot, you know, behind a phone call over somebody thinking that they stole a piece of gum. Like it, I'm very
That's the
careful
world now.
with
Yeah.
my sons. I'm very careful. You know, I don't want them because one of my sons wants to be a police officer. I don't want to discourage that in him, but I also don't want him to be so trusting, you know, of the police. But at the same time, I don't want them terrified, you know, when they see blue lights. Because even now they're ducking and looking and like, Mama, what's going on? Are they got them pulled over? Is she okay? Are they going to be okay? We're just going to mind our business. And we're going to keep going.
Yeah, I do think class has a lot to do with it as well, just as a secondary variable. Growing up in what I would classify as working class, you don't get profiled for your skin. You just don't. That's never a thing.
Okay.
But you do get profiled for the type of vehicle that you drive. And if you are white and it's a low valuable vehicle, you can be profiled for that.
The stereotypes.
Yeah, so some of the even some of the studying I did on your rights as a automobile driver, and then also what your rights are as a pedestrian. There's a lot of extra information that you can read about, and some of it actually has justification for profiling people. And one of them is actually looking at the type of car that you drive. And if you drive a low class, maybe even a beat up type of car, or just a invaluable, outdated vehicle, you can be profiled for that.
Yeah, because you probably can't afford insurance.
Yeah.
And you probably can't afford to pay the fine. You probably can't afford an attorney, or you probably don't really know anybody high up that could get you out of the ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been pulled over 3 times with, I didn't do anything wrong. I have been pulled over 3 times. And I have never owned a really nice car. In fact, I've never owned a car out of the 90s, for one.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, I like
He's a
the
classic
90s.
man.
Yeah, I'm a 90s guy. But the thing is what's different about that, though, is it's different when you're being profiled for something that is of dignity that's only rooted in finances. It's not rooted in your physical identity.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah,
You
being
know, something
profiled on
that's
your skin is
Yeah,
a whole different world.
it's not a. It still is not in equal measurement. You know, there is no measurement for seeing a black person operating a car in East St. Louis. Just the context of that, and it's a guaranteed stop. You know, it's guaranteed.
Pretty much.
Are you good on bourbon? Need any more?
Yeah, I'm
I feel
pretty
like
good.
I feel like this is a good time to refill.
Yeah, I like that the big. What happened to the big cubes of ice?
They're not frozen enough yet.
No.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
they're nice.
disappoint you, Cliff. Yeah,
Yep, really nice.
Yeah.
but I do think that more people need to be more aware of these types of stories. But this just contextual and environmental shortcomings on part of rural white America, you know, and conservative white America. I think that there's two different. I think there's an identity crisis happening in a lot of Americans right now. I think and jump in at any moment to.
I'm gonna jump in as soon as you give me a.
Give me that point. All right, gearing up. I think that America, the way that being that it's so young, it's a young country with such a fast growth and rooted in such terrible circumstances. Not that throughout all of human history is that unique, but as far as modern human history, in America alone, it is a very unique persecution. But I do think that part of what minority racism there is predicated off of an identity crisis within white people. Mm-hmm. It creates an insecurity. Mm-hmm. And I never really thought about this until I got a DNA test. When you walk into a room and you see other white people, it literally means nothing.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
It means absolutely nothing. They don't have my back for any reason at all. I don't know you. You probably don't want to know me, and that's fine. There is absolutely no unifying quantity there. There is nothing culturally either, other than maybe you can agree on being an American, but even that is in jeopardy right now. Mm-hmm. So you either like the same beer or you like the same music, maybe. There is no unifying factor within the white community of Americans. And what I'm presenting is maybe there is an inverse of this. I have Irish heritage that I didn't even know about until last year. I come from an extremely small family, most of which, all of my grandparents are deceased, and I only had one grandparent my whole life up until last year, and she didn't have very much information on our heritage either. So there isn't any sort of identity that precedes the American label, right?
Right.
So none of that is preserved in our day-to-day lifestyle, in our holiday celebrations, in what we value as people who have Irish heritage. We know jack shit about Irish culture, and we have that in our heritage. So there is a disenfranchisement, a disconnect of a deep identity that's completely gone now. Right. It's not being preserved. And I think that when a lot of white people see a rich unity between black people, there's a jealousy and there's an insecurity because there is at least a solid identity that's quantifiable. There isn't in the white community.
I get it.
So what do you think about anything that I just said?
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
There's probably plenty of people disagreeing with would disagree with that. But
you'll get some that disagree, because I know
it's just an observation.
Yeah,
you know.
I see where you're coming from. I know a lot of white people that feel like they have a lot of unity, and they do when it comes to negative things. You know.
Well,
yeah, right.
Preach.
They do when it comes to negative things. I think the climate of the world now. What I was thinking is social media.
Yeah.
And not just social media, I'm gonna say technology.
You need some.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna say social media and technology, because what I've noticed I'm a black guy that has, and I thought about this some years ago. For some odd reason, I have a lot of white friends. I use the word friend loosely. I use it in the context of like social media. Friend has kind of lost its meaning, so maybe I should say associates.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Acquaintance.
I've realized over the last few years, a lot of this stuff that's happening, it's not new to me, it's not new to Tineka, it's not even new to Jaelon, and he's only 20. But the thing is, so many white people have been unaware. They have not had to worry about the things that we worry about. And the only reason they do now is because of technology and social media. Cops been whooping our asses for years.
Yeah.
But we didn't have this. We didn't have that. They've been whooping our asses for years. But technology has shined a light on it.
Absolutely.
And so I really believe I've met a lot of white people. I got some white associates, friends, whatever you want to call them, that I think are sincere because they didn't know. So to find out the terrors, to find out, is it really like that? I had a kind of an argument one time, and Shannon, you know what I'm talking about somebody had posed a question about, this is a white guy. He's basically saying, like you're exaggerating, do you really get scared every time you see red and blue lights? You're goddamn right I do.
Absolutely. Because
failing to use my blinker could have me at Massey's. That's a funeral home.
I got you.
Yeah. But not pausing at the stop sign long enough can have me dead, have my family going to my funeral in
I
7
like how
days.
you said it like it's a shopping center.
Yeah.
That's why I had to say Massey's.
It's like, yeah, I don't
funeral.
shop there, man.
I had to throw a plug in for DeVille Massey. He's a black mortician. But he'll probably handle my all my stuff when the time comes. But at any rate, but no, seriously. So I'm just saying that it's interesting to me how social media. I say technology. By technology, you know, I mean not just our cell phones, which are studios in your hand, but cameras. Cameras are not like they were 40 years ago. You know, it's crazy. But by technology, any electronic device that records. But then there's social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. You know, this stuff puts it in America's face to where, now check this out, it should be unquestionable. But then you still got black people getting killed. There are cops killing black people in cold blood on video in daylight.
Knowing they're on video.
And still getting away with it. So I can't say irrefutable, but y'all catch my drift. It's opened it up to, and now there are a lot of white people who still don't give a damn. They gonna be racist to the core. I know some guys. I work with some guys, not in music, but in my secular job. I work with some guys that when Breonna Taylor got murdered, I work with some guys that actually said, I actually hear them saying, he should have got killed too. The only thing bad about that is he didn't die too.
Wow.
When you got people that think that way, that lets me know that no matter what social media puts in their face, they're gonna all, because they're racist to the core. They're evil to the core. But you know, I always tell my daughter this, because Promise, my daughter, she goes to U of L, and Breonna Taylor was in Louisville. And so Promise got to see a completely different perspective of it when all the rioting was going on. And Promise told me one day, she said, Dad, how could they kill her serving a knock warrant or whatever the hell they call it? How do they end up killing her? And she also heard comments of, well, he should have got killed too, you know. And Promise was just blown away. And I always tell her this. I tell her and I tell my sons this. Never forget, you might be blown away that Mike Brown got killed, that Philando Castile got killed, and 60 other names that I got written in my notebook from writing poetry about it. You might be blown away. I'm never blown away, simply because I remember that there have been black people that were tied to backs of horses and drugged through the town until there was nothing left, simply because they were accused of looking at a white woman. I tell my kids that, and people are like, but that's kind of graphic, Cliff. That's kind of taking it overboard. Oh no, the hell it ain't. No, they used to lynch us for
history.
nothing. So when I think of it in that perspective, Oh, I'm not surprised about Sandra Bland getting killed. I'm not surprised about what happened to Breonna Taylor. I'm actually shocked that it ain't happening more. You got to remember our history because this shit wasn't no 400 years ago.
No.
This stuff was in my parents' lifetime, in my grandparents' lifetime. This stuff, you know, we're not too far removed from hanging from trees. And people hate when I say that, but I say it all the time. We not too far from that. So hell no, I'm not surprised about any form of racism. I had on that mail route. One day somebody filled a mailbox up with feces, with human shit, filled it up, and called the post office and said that I did it.
Do they know who shit it was?
They don't know who it was, but they sent some people, cops, inspectors, whoever went out to look at it, and it was deemed it was human shit. When you got people that was stooped to that level,
Man.
you ain't finna tell me. you can't tell me nothing about racism because I'm never shocked at it.
Well, I also think that, like, again, bringing up the social media point, people are completely withdrawing from the consequential reality of shit that they say and do online.
Yeah.
Their behavior online is starting to become the behavior in their actual physical reality. Because when you are somebody spending that much time and exhausting that much hate online, that becomes part of your reality and real philosophy in life. I mean, you're carrying it over. You're losing. You're degrading your filter that was built up by enough other white people disagreeing with you. But now there's this platform where disagreement is like the sport. This is the sport. And when that becomes your social climate online, it, for some people who don't think abstractly or are able to retain their sovereignty of thought, they're going to bring that into their real life, you know, and it's going to be worse, which is why I was saying earlier, like, people are coming out of the woodwork, showing their true colors. Sharon, you know what's funny to me is, and I've heard a lot of stories, but I actually know of at least 3 different white people losing jobs because of shit they've said on social media. And what's funny is, we all know the Western Baptist woman.
Of course, her.
Sorry, Western Baptist. I didn't mean to, like.
But what's funny to me is how can I say it? The white people, they're so blown away that they can't say that. They're so shocked that they got in trouble for it. Like, I don't want to call names because I don't want to get no trouble, but I know a guy that works with the company that I worked for and wrote something slightly racial on the back of a dirty truck door. He took it and wrote something racial on there and something about Trump and supporting Trump, something demeaning to people of color. But at any rate, they fired his ass. And you should hear the guys around the office talking about mad because he got fired. I'm like, so y'all not used to being held accountable for fucked up shit. Y'all, you shocked that you can't just, we know we just some niggas. We know we ain't worth a dime. We know we so far beneath you, but you are shocked to find out that you can't go on your company's website and say that. You didn't. Your mama didn't teach you, but because you didn't have to. You didn't have to keep your mouth shut. You didn't, because you got to remember, we couldn't even speak to white people. We couldn't even look their way. So a lot of times now, white people are not used to having that privilege taken from them, or they're not used to having that privilege exposed, and they hate that word white privilege. But
and the thing is like, what you're talking about, that accountability, they're not going to lose that privilege.
No,
just because they got fired from their job.
No, they can get hired somewhere else.
They're going to get hired pretty easily somewhere else.
But the fact that it's challenged.
How are we doing on time?
You're doing good if Cliff will shut up.
Nah,
Could I add something to that?
There's
though?
no time constraint. Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the major things too is that it's generational. So that hate and stuff, like it goes so far back for them, and they got away with it. And then their kids, and then their kids had kids, and then their kids had kids, and now we're in the electronic stage and the social media and all of that. So they are bolder. Like one of the things that I heard about that I didn't know, you would think a picnic is innocent. The background of a picnic was where the white families would bring their kids and watch a black person be lynched. And they celebrated. That was picnic. That was pick-a-ninny. That was pick-a-nigger. That's what a picnic is. So now when I want to take my kids to the park, we're just going to the park and we're going to eat lunch. We're not having something as what I thought was innocent, a picnic.
There's so many nefarious things distilled distilled or embedded, whatever you want to call it, but in some of these culture, white American culture, that people, even in normal lexicon, like just like the way that you speak, some of the things that you say, crack a whip. Other side of the tracks, or wrong side of the tracks, I should say. There's so many of these like southern adages, and Kentucky can fucking get over it. We're not the South, we're the upper crust.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but we are behaving in a way that there is no distinguishing us from the South. Right. Anyways, sorry, I can continue. I was.
That's okay, but I mean, even while you were speaking just then, I was thinking about how I went to Starnes last week and got lunch for me and my boys. So, they're seeing people outside. You don't go in anymore. They just take your order. But I was standing next to an older white gentleman who was Trump down from head to toe. I mean, the hat, the mask, the T-shirt. He was like, if he could have had flags out his back pocket, I'm pretty sure he would. But
so you're saying he was wearing Trump underwear?
Pretty much, I'm sure he was, because he was Trump head to toe. But his mask, had the "Make America Great Again." So
that's cool.
I'm standing. Yeah, I want to know when was it great, but anyway, he's standing next to me. He walks up, and then there was a nurse. She was in full, uniform. You can tell she was a nurse, probably an RN, LPN, whatever. She was definitely a nurse, but she walked up to get her order, and she stopped, not in front of him. She stopped in front of me and said, "I love your mask," and rolled her eyes and walked off like that was an insult, or like I was going to spin around like, "What you say? Why you acting?" Right. Like I was getting ready to show her my color, but she didn't stop in front of him. It would have been proper to just go to him, "Hey man, I love your mask," but no, I love your mask. But she was like right here, not 6 feet, but she was right here as though she was making a direct point. And I was like, if I had time, I would probably follow her to find out what hospital she works at, how many black people are on her floor. Because it wasn't that, hey, I'm voting for the same person. It's no, I'm letting you know that I want white America back and I want her back in her place and be great again. And it's a lot. It's really too much. It's not just a lot. It's too much.
And people, I hear a lot of people log off of social media. Social media, this, I like it. You know why? Because it exposes. Yeah. You want to see how people really, really feel? Go to KFES 12 comments or WPSD. Go to any of the news channel comments, and you will see how people feel. People that I don't make this mistake because I've learned it too many times in life. You ain't gonna catch me surprised about a white person being racist. No, that's just not gonna happen. But a lot of people are. I never would have thought. Hey. Read them comments and you'll see. But the funny thing is, Shan, a lot of white people are racist and don't even know it. And that I can almost understand. Because Because if you've been taught all your life, now we know stop signs are red. If you've been taught all your life that stop signs were blue, and nobody ever told you any different, I can understand you being an adult and keep thinking, well, I got to keep correcting myself. I didn't realize, you see what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's called an echo chamber.
There are white people that don't even know that they racist. They're not able to see it and especially these ones that I know that ain't never in their life went more than an hour away from Paducah.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Oh, they don't even realize it. They say racist stuff to me and don't even realize it because it goes back. This is generational. This is,
Well, that's what I was saying about the vernacular and the lexicon of people. It's
I had a administrator at the local college in Paducah, and something about grades, and we were talking, and she's like, yeah, you better get this together for I wring your cotton picking neck. I'm like, she's like, did you not just hear what you said to me? There was no point of thought or reference to it. She just like said it like it was every day.
What was the what's the demographic of this person that said this?
She's white.
Female,
yeah.
And this was at the college?
At the college, West Kentucky.
Holy shit.
Technical Community College.
But little things like that happens all the time.
All the time.
And so you almost feel like, okay, they're just ignorant about it or whatever. I had started a job one time and was in a training room. There were other new hires in the room. So you're dressed, what department are you working for? What department are you working for? What department? Oh, are you a volunteer? Are you the volunteer they sent? No, ma'am, I am who I am.
Right.
I'm in orientation like everyone else, and I have a department that I'm working in.
Should have gave your full name and
Yes.
credentials.
Should have.
And
Should have. But I was blown away that because I was the only black, and I felt that it was because I was the only black in the room, and surely she doesn't have a position, here. She's got to be a volunteer.
yeah, because you're not supposed to have a position.
right. I don't understand to a degree. Like, I don't understand making assumptions like that.
Yeah.
I'm to a point in my life that's like, I love people even if they have problems. So I always find myself in a conflict with coming into contact with people like that, or being a bystander, and not knowing a solution, because it's like, if it's this person that's a product of exactly what Clif was talking about, they lived in an echo chamber, they're a victim of this ideology, and they don't even know it.
A victim,
And I use that term loosely, not in the sense that we pity, but in the sense that we empathize. And that's where I get mixed emotions about how social media addresses these things, because there's no tangibility, there's no visceral interaction, there's no emotional and face-to-face way to change this person. There is only this forever published disgrace.
Forever.
Yeah. And no matter what you do at that point, like, what are the solutions? And I welcome any opinions that you might have, but like, I have my own opinions on what these solutions are. We may have the same ideas, but what do you think are the solutions to some of these things?
Well, I think I get what you're saying. Me and your brother Jaron talked about this before. As far as social media, how I use my page is, I'm well aware that there's
you look good on your page. I mean, you use it to promote your fashion sense.
I'm not talking about fashion stuff.
Hey, you don't have to talk about it. That's what everybody would reference about your page.
But you know what, Shan? like I know some people stay away from social media because they're saying they're like, it ain't fixing nothing. You're not changing nobody. All I can do from my page is try to shine my light as bright as I can. You're not gonna find negativity on my page. I don't care what nobody is saying about me or putting out on me. I know there's racism in the world. I know there's evil in the world. But if everybody would have this type of mentality, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm being the best Cliff I can be. I'm trying to change the world from my little position. I'm trying to just be positive and shine light. Yeah. Shine my light as bright as I can. I can't do nothing about what Jim Crow over here doing on his page. But on my page, I can shine light. If you stop by my page, you're going to get positivity. Hopefully I'll enlighten you. And if you want to go there about racism and all that stuff and sexuality and religion and all that, we can go there too. But I'm going to do it from a positive standpoint. And
and they're about to get this video.
Yeah.
They're about to get this song.
Right now.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah.
About to get this video. Yes. Yes. I'm so excited.
I do think that's where I look at it less as a weapon and more as a tool.
Right.
Whenever you have something to bring this back full circle with art.
Art, creativity.
Art and creativity is really the exaltation of human solidarity and unity. And when people don't get to experience that, they are most likely living in some sort of echo chamber. If you don't get to experience deliberately getting out of your comfort zone and then creating something with someone else, and then rejoicing in the product together, it changes you. It changes fundamental things about you, at least enough to where you can conflict with yourself about some of these things. Right. And we are going to drop a beautiful video that is with a ridiculously beautiful song and very powerful. And I can't wait. I think that we haven't really. When do you think? What are you feeling? Because there's Halloween coming up, and then the election's coming up. I mean, we've got some people who are going to go straight from the costume to the voting booth. So, social media is about to be fucking active. Yeah. What do you think, Jaelon? When should we post this shit?
November 1st.
Right after Halloween.
Right after Halloween. Smack! Been mine in 3 months.
So that's rolling now. And
I know.
looks like we're. I'm gonna grab it. Cliff, you need some more ice.
Man, I do.
Yeah, water it down for heat.
No, I'm good, man. I drink like 2 glasses of wine just about every night.
What? Every night?
Or every other night.
What?
Well, I didn't the last 2 nights, but I will tonight.
It's a really nice pink lighter you got in there. Oh, the big nice ones.
You tell your man that when he out of town, you be coming to drink wine with me.
Okay.
No, make him not like you right that.
What is your favorite wine, Cliff?
My favorite wine? Strawberry banana.
What?
By Purple Toad. I got a new one at home right now, Steve's Strawberry. I haven't tried it.
Steve's.
That's what it's called, Steve's Strawberry.
It's Steve.
Tori was telling me today I need to try Paducah Harbor, but I ain't tried it.
Paducah Harbor is good.
That's what she was saying. She says the strongest one.
We're just gonna keep
That's
this
what
going.
she said.
I don't really know. That is what she said. I don't really know when we're gonna stop. I think we just keep the spirits going. And thanks. What is this?
It's a paper towel.
This is marble.
That was
you
folded.
pick it up, you don't slap it across.
That's right. This is my house.
Got my nap back.
So back on this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your date? What date you got in mind? Jaelon said November 1st.
I'm saying ASAP and let it just pick up momentum.
You said tomorrow, huh?
Hey.
Shit.
Right now.
But whenever it's done. and ready to go.
All right.
What are you thinking, Shane?
Man, I think there's a lot of factors to consider. I don't want people's nonsense to drown it out, but you can't really plan for that.
Right.
I do know that, like, with Halloween, people are going to be real active on social media, posting their parties and their costumes and whatnot, which is understandable. Happens every year. But between that and the election ending, people are already voting. You know,
Exactly.
people are already voting. I still gotta vote. I gotta vote this week.
Don't get your Trump hat out.
Nah, I'm gonna get like a $700 Kanye West sweatsuit and go vote for him.
Maybe, I was like,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure.
Jaron let you borrow his Trump hat.
Before the election, I think that.
So, like the first or the second?
Probably the second.
the second.
That's
Let the weekend die down.
What is
Get
the
past that.
second? That a Monday?
Who?
It's a
Tuesday.
Monday.
I think Tuesday is gonna be our better date.
Tuesday's the third.
November
Tuesday's the-
1st.
Tuesday the 3rd is election day, right?
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Monday. It's Monday.
The problem with this
November
is
1st is
because of our initial
1st is
quarantine, my sense of time is completely
Yes.
fucked. Like,
Tuesday is the third.
I know I have this anxiety though that it's this coming Tuesday,
Okay, no, but it's
even
not.
though it isn't.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'm anxious
It's
right
not
now.
right.
Right now, I'm
Right.
anxious. I'm like,
Oh yeah, this coming
You
Tuesday,
still
day
have a
after
week.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we still got a week.
all right. I feel much better about this.
Hey, I'm down.
Say all these 24 hours.
First, second, or
in a week.
third.
All
is-
these 24 hours.
The
in a
first,
week.
second, or third is cool
That's
with
right.
me. First, second, or third is cool with me. I'm just ready. Proud of it.
I know, me too.
What do you think the response is going to be?
I think it'd be pretty positive. I mean, I don't see much hate coming from it because it's full of light. It's full of love.
Yeah.
It's full of peace and unity. So it's very hard for something like, especially when you have 4 people coming together with that much energy, wanting to change and be a face of inspiration. It's extremely hard to have negativity really creep on in there like that.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
And I think they're feeling hopefully they will feel and see another side
Yeah.
of Black Lives Matter. The skin I'm in. It's not that we matter more or
The
anything.
sentiment.
It's the
Yeah.
sentiment. It's the skin I'm in. I didn't choose it, you know, and I shouldn't be judged according to it. I shouldn't be mistreated according to it. You know, the different things that we experience. It's just like the skin you're in. You know,
Skin I'm in.
it's just skin.
Let me comment on it being just skin.
Okay.
I think people really. So going back to a question I had earlier about solutions, education, bottom line.
Education.
Yeah.
Education, bottom line is the solution, which is there's some reason to speculate why it has not been socialized to a associate or a bachelor's level of education. There are a lot of things about sociology, psychology, and so on and so forth that you're not going to learn in high school, you know. And if you don't learn it in high school and you don't go to college, when do you actually ever learn
Right.
scientific things about human beings?
In real time in the world.
Right. And the only people on this planet that don't have melanin are albinos.
That's it. Yeah.
White people have predominantly hemoglobin driven skin, which makes it lighter. See?
Like right.
Yeah. And then melanin darkens skin and makes it this beautiful, rich earth
Come on,
tone.
you better say that,
Look.
Shandon.
No, I better say
Beautiful, rich.
Look.
Come on here.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't have to-
But I like that we like to contrast our own skin colors with clothes. See,
Yeah.
like we do it. But either way, it's just part of your identity. And you know what? Like, to discriminate or any of these things on things that, for one, you didn't have a choice in.
Thank you.
You didn't have a choice in how you were born, to what parents you were born in, where you were born. I'm not a very tall guy. I've been discriminated for being tall, or being. I like to say average height because I'm slightly taller than Jaron. Slightly taller, yeah. But we're not very tall men at all. Very average white male height. Extremely beautifully average.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, we've heard height jokes our whole life. By people who are barely taller than us.
Right. That's the key.
Yeah. So, ultimately, the solution is education.
Education.
And I do think that a polite and well-calculated amount of comedy around who we are, so we don't take ourselves so seriously.
I have no issue with that.
Love that.
And if I had a choice, I would still choose it again.
Come on.
The skin I'm in.
Come on,
Hey.
Come on. Come on.
Hey, I can write to that right now. If I had a choice. Let me put that in my notes. I can write to that if I had a choice.
I'd choose it again. That's right.
I'm thinking about what you said earlier. You mentioned Black Lives Matter. Because, see, the thing is, I know y'all have heard some people say Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, that it's an evil group. It ain't about
Marxist.
BLM.
Right.
I'm not talking about a group or an organization. We're talking about our actual lives. Who gives a hell about BLM, the group? When I talk about Black Lives Matter, I'm talking about real people's lives. I'm not talking about a group or an organization.
Right.
I'm talking about the real deal. This is my life I'm talking about. But it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You get these people who don't have a clue, who've been privileged all their life, who can only see things in black or white. Oh, they forming a group. They out there riding. They out there tearing shit up. You know.
Well, and the problem is that they're friends with and only exposed to the things that confirm their bias on social media, which is why I partially share your optimism with social media, and partially I don't think I think it's weaponry or a tool. And right now we're straddling the line between it being a helpful tool and it being a weapon, and I think it's being weaponized and utilized at the same time.
Definitely.
And I can't make a distinction on the winning number of adherents to one or the other. I just don't know how many people are weaponizing this versus how many people are utilizing this for better.
Exactly.
It's just a hard thing to see because so the algorithms are basically there to make sure you are outraged and confirmed and justified in your outrage all the time.
All the time.
Wow.
Regardless if what you're reading and seeing is true. And that's why I think that we're in a really shitty situation with social media and society altogether surrounding our social problems.
I would say for me, social media, especially this summer, has been extremely traumatizing.
Tell us.
I'll tell you, see, when the entire the murder of George Floyd, when that occurred and it was broadcasted everywhere. I mean, all 50 states were protesting. It was global. Globally. From then on, then to Breonna Taylor, and then the young man, Jacob Blake, it was just like, smack. Here's
Couldn't
another.
even get over one.
It's just like, what? For me, it almost put me in a shell. It's like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to feel anything. I just want to detach because it can't be that real. This cannot be everyday life. This can't be something that I'm experiencing every day. Yeah.
And those are just the ones you know about.
Exactly.
These.
Yeah.
Those are the ones we know about.
Well, I will say too, though, that this is the reason you're seeing so many of those things what happens with that is that it brings about the detractors. And not that that is necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's certainly not a good thing. But detractors, do you know the name Tony Timpa?
No.
Dylan Noble. So these are white people who were murdered by police.
Mm.
You don't get those. And this goes back to the point I was making earlier about how disenfranchised communities can be from their original heritage, to where they have no unity that is an acknowledgement of a problem that actually reaches over racial lines.
Right.
Police brutality touches a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
We don't know those names because society is so multivariate that, especially coming around to an election, you're giving candidates a reason to placate. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Well,
Nobody knows about the names that there's more than those two.
Yeah.
Those are just at the top of the list, but it goes to show that there's that lack of unity in the white community begets detractors of the problem of racial profiling of the black community and the disproportionate incarceration
yes.
of the black community. Does this make sense? What do you think, Clif?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I make it a point to, because like I said, I like to research and read things. So yeah, I know about that stuff. Yeah, because I just to get a contrast of it. A lot of times I'll look it up to see what white people are being killed by police brutality. Yeah. Now I know a lot of people who, like, you're putting it out there in an informative way for knowledge, but I know a lot of people who take that and use it to fight.
Well,
See, you can't say that there's racism because they kill.
Well, that's what I was saying about detractors.
Yeah.
That is used for detraction.
Exactly.
When we should normalize talking about it so that it cannot be used as a detracting utility.
Right.
Does that make sense?
You know, to this song, to tie all this in with the song Skin I'm In, I just thought about something. I heard a guy say, it was somebody I work with, had said, I'm trying to think exactly what he said. He had said something along the lines of, hell, I get stopped by the cops too. Or hell, it's hard for me to, I've been turned down for jobs too, or I've been denied this too. And he went on a tirade of all kind of different scenarios where I done did this too, and I get treated unfairly too. But the last thing is, I'm just like, it's never because you black though.
Right.
And to me, that ends it all. And then you sit there like,
it's never because
you might have
of
been
your
denied
skin.
because of this or because of that, but it's never because of the skin you're in. Yeah, you get stopped by the cops because you're driving like a fucking idiot. You got a pound of meth in the trunk.
Right.
Okay, I can get stopped by the cops because I'm black.
You didn't get the job because you either biffed it during your job interview,
Right.
or you are not qualified for this fucking job. I mean,
Exactly. So there's
to be
there's
qualified
difference.
and to perfectly execute a job interview and not get the job.
Man.
Hello, been there, done that.
Honestly, like, I've had a problem with this ever since I got a job at Dillard's. I've had several jobs. But one of my
at Dillard's?
I worked at Dillard's.
Not
They wouldn't
Shan.
hire me back in the day. They would not hire me back in the day.
Don't worry, it wasn't a retail job. I cleaned bathrooms. It was a dock job, so I stocked clothes and clean bathrooms. But either way, the reason I use that job as an example is because it's the last one I remember like having to check the box what my race is. It's like, why is this a fucking question on this document? Like,
we want to make sure you ain't black.
Huh? Yes. I mean, I'm glad we can laugh about it, but the thing is like,
Shandon, that's kind of, it can go either way.
Simmons too.
Yes. I don't. At least my first name is not a traditional white
No, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
name. But even then, I had never thought about my name like that. I was thinking about the fact that this is even a part of the fucking job application that I have to specify what my ethnicity is, as if this is a proper assessment of applicability for a job. Why the hell is this even on a job application? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yes. You better believe it's on there.
What do you think? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think it's important. I don't think it's important at all.
But you know what? My thing is once you do the perfect resume, go through 1, 2, possibly 3 interviews without flaw. Once you get the job offer and you pass the background check,
Yeah.
Well,
and once you get into the position,
You pass a drug test.
drug test.
But
But once you get into the position, you still have to work 3 times as hard to prove yourself. I don't care if you have a degree. I don't care if you've got, titles and
You don't
initials
get it.
after your name. You still have to be on the up and up. You still got to be early, not on time. You still got to be early. You still have to have your things in before the due date. You have to work that much harder. You can't go and take the extra 10 minutes for lunch or, take the 10-minute smoke break with everybody else. You have to be flawless. Just by the skin you're in. And you'll watch all the inconsistencies. You'll see that, well, did she really get away with that? Well, she been late 3 times this week. I had a legitimate reason and I called and blah, 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 but I got wrote up. She didn't even get a verbal, and you just start to make those comparisons.
You do, and meanwhile, you're doing that count. Meanwhile, their priorities like, she's had 3 slices of pizza already.
Right.
They order pizzas for everybody, and she's already had 3 slices.
Yeah.
I've only had 1 slice.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. She needs to slow down.
Yeah.
Getting away with 3 slices.
3.
I mean, and no one wants to have to do that, but when you know that you have to be flawless, you may not be able to wear braids this job. You may not be able to rock your natural hair. You may have to tone your makeup down a little bit, or maybe you can't wear that kente cloth, your ethnic cloth or whatever, your design or your fabric. Maybe you can't wear your head wrap, even though it's flawless and it's beautiful and it matches your outfit perfectly and you're still professional. Like, you really have to go through those types of changes just to stay where you're at, just to make it, not even say promotion or, other job offers, moving ahead.
Right.
Just to stay where you're at. I got this job, let me keep this job. Let me just be cool with being right here. And then some people, especially, because I had a run-in with a white coworker before where she was an older white woman, been in the job 23 years, intimidated. I came in just as a receptionist. I didn't want her job. I was volunteering on K-Tab. So when I got a job offer to be a receptionist, I'm cool with that and I'm going to rock that out. Thank you, Jesus. I'm good.
Yeah.
But she's thinking, well, she's learning too fast. They're giving her too much responsibility. I've never had to give anyone my key to my office. And my bosses are like, yeah, Tineka needs access. Show Tineka how to do this. Tineka needs to know how to do that. So when you go on vacation, Tineka can go ahead and run the department. Let Tineka do this. And it almost drove her crazy. Literally.
It's just that one person, that Karen. And I don't like stereotyping the name Karen, but that is
That
a Karen.
Karen.
That's a Karen.
That's a Karen.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to propagate the Karen stereotype, but that is
It's a lot of Karens.
It
It's a lot
that
of,
was a Karen.
And it's unfortunate.
Karens,
When
too.
I was cool where I was at, I felt so blessed that my situation had turned around and not knowing. And she really had to come to terms with it and, you know, tell the boss and I that, hey, I'm feeling insecure right now. Taneka's younger, you know, she's learning quick, she's got this. And
This person's like way better than me,
yeah.
literally.
But told me that I would be perfect because she's retiring in 3 years. She told me, you're the perfect
But see, the
candidate.
thing
I'm going
is-
to teach you everything I know. And then when she was forced to teach me everything she knew.
if you were a white girl, it wouldn't have been as bad.
No,
It'd have
no,
been
no.
like, because you're supposed to be smart. You're
Exactly.
supposed, you know, she'd be proud that you
Now,
might
wait
be
a
smarter
minute.
than her.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Because what? Wait. we gotta establish a hair color.
Not just any.
If she is a blonde white girl, young, I can't say that they're having any more faith than the quality of job that this person's gonna do.
There it
You
is.
gotta nuance these things.
So there's levels to this.
Yeah, no, people are
But
like,
can I add to that?
yes, you can.
She did end up retiring. And there were people with bachelor's degrees, which I don't have. Guess who ended up the director?
What color hair did she have?
I don't know, gray brown. I don't know.
Did you end up director?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got promoted.
I got promoted.
That's right.
And I went through the same process as everybody.
Did you get a
Thank
raise?
goodness, got a raise.
Well,
Yeah,
damn.
that's right.
Phone raise,
Oh yeah,
Benefits.
benefits, everything,
insurance.
insurance.
That's a good.
everything.
That's a
yeah.
reasonable company.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I promote them to this day. Can I go ahead and shout out the Salvation Army? I was the first
What?
black employee in the office.
Yeah.
And I did. I went from working in the thrift store
Yeah.
to volunteering on KTAP because I was in school full time and I had 2 boys that needed to be in daycare and struggling to get them from the north side to the west side to my job on the south side. And God opened up that door and I became receptionist, the admin clerk, and then the director.
Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
So it can happen, but you really have to have people that want the best for their company and they're going to be fair about it.
Yeah.
And I will say that my employers at the time, they did come from Chattanooga, which is predominantly black. And
that helps.
so they were different than Paducah natives.
Right. And it goes to say it's testament to not necessarily having a racial adherence to that, but knowing how a door swings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's monumentally a game changer for somebody's
yes.
life. Is putting aside the ignorant nonsense
Mm-hmm.
and still understanding. I know how a door swings.
Mm-hmm.
Wider for some people
Mm-hmm.
and not as wide for others.
Mm.
I like that.
And do you know Karen had the audacity
Oh,
to
Karen.
say that
Karen.
to say that she felt threatened by me.
Of course.
What do you
Not
think
that
her?
of
What do you think
course.
her Halloween costume is this year? I feel like Karen
That's a
should
new-
be a costume.
Karen definitely should be a costume.
While I'm not advocating for this stereotype, I'm advocating for this stereotype.
Yeah,
Karen should definitely be a costume. And did they ever decide what the male equivalent?
You gotta
I feel it
think
should be
about
Ken.
how many women are named Karen though that are
I know.
probably awesome.
Yeah, of
I know.
course.
There's probably a lot of shitty Karens, but
Yeah, I mean, if you have that name, you're probably, yeah.
Karen Clark Sheard.
I have the luxury of not having.
Well, hey,
that.
hey. Now you said something there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, skin you're in, you know.
Skin you're in.
That's the Skin I'm In is the title of the song. We're gonna be rolling this thing out. Does anybody want to jump in and help promote this, the drop for this piece of art?
I will say Shandon Simmons directed this and he hit it out the
Woo!
park. Glenn Hall.
Yes,
You know,
Shandon.
it's something I really want to say about this. My favorite thing about it, but I don't want to say it before people see it. I want people to see it, and then maybe we come back.
People know me by my birth name, but we can use
Hush Art. Yeah, I'm gonna need the world to know this. Hush Art is Shandon Simmons. I had a problem with that at first, only because I wanted to make sure he gets his recognition.
You called me about it.
Yeah. Hush Art is Shandon Simmons. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like you had more to say though that sounded pretty good. You can go ahead. I feel like you weren't done.
Right.
I lost my thought.
Yeah.
I lost my thought. But it's an amazing amazing video, short film, whatever you want to call it. I'm so proud of it.
Me too.
It definitely is a short film.
But I don't want to say too much about it.
There's some subtleties in it to pay attention to.
Definitely.
Not a lot, just some subtleties in there, but definitely watch it and absorb it and understand that this is a piece of historical art,
Yes.
which is, in my personal opinion, the most valuable art ever.
Yes.
Very much
Something
so.
that touches on history and
And relevant.
and relevant and touches people's hearts
Mm-hmm.
in hopes that we can create a better society. And to me, these are my contribution to this project are my reparations.
Nice.
Wow,
nice.
Shandon.
Awesome.
We love you, bro.
All
That's my
right, you
dude.
know.
Oh, Shandon.
That's my dude.
Shandon, I need a hug. No more 6 feet.
All right, bring that denim over here.
Well, yes.
I like that.
Wow,
beautiful.
Shandon.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's one of the major special parts about it is that you would have the idea, that you would promote it, that you would push it through to the end, that you would spend time on it, that you would be dedicated, that you would research, that you would add your pieces to it and what it needs, and let's add this, and you know, a lot of time, work, effort, thought, sacrifice. We appreciate you for that.
Very much so.
And everybody's getting ready to see it. The world's getting ready to see
Because you
it.
usually have to pay people thousands of dollars to do what Shandon has done. And what
Yeah,
Glenn's
we'll
done.
talk about that.
So don't speak too fast.
Hold it though.
I'm just playing. No, I mean it's my pleasure. It's my spirit, and I don't. It's all I know. You know, art is all I know. And
Definitely.
so,
I wish y'all could see this guy's his condo here. It's ridiculous. It's like it was made
Beautiful.
for an artist.
Hey, don't
It is
oversell
made
it.
for
It's
artists.
an apartment.
No,
It's made
it's
for an artist.
amazing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Dallas, we appreciate you, man.
Thank
Your
you,
work on
We
this.
got Dallas,
Thanks, Dallas.
Dallas Williams right on the
Yes.
camera. What is it? What Productions? Dallas
Dallas J Production.
Dallas J Productions.
Awesome.
He's helping shoot this and manning the cameras, and we appreciate it.
Awesome.
And I feel like this was good. Skin I'm In,
Skin I'm in.
To hit.
Clifton Davis,
Oh,
Tineka Fitzgerald, and Jaelon Harris all featured on this track, and with a music video that is going to drop
short film.
either November 2nd or November 3rd, whichever one's the Tuesday.
The second.
November
that's the
November
third.
That's the third.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the third.
Yeah.
Oh,
third.
on election day. Oh wow,
Why not?
beautiful. I like that.
On election day. Fuck. All right. Election day.
Why not?
On election day.
Are we sure? Because this is like solidified in the video.
Okay.
Whenever we agree on it.
We can do the second if you want to, but
Election day.
Awesome.
Election day.
I think that's smart.
It is. Yeah.
I think that's smart.
That's good stuff. It's
Yeah.
heavy.
Election day.
That's
Skin I'm
drop.
In.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Skin I'm in.
All right. Goodbye, and I'm glad you all sat down.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
we
for
could talk
having us.
about this. Yeah.
Yes, thank
I love you all.
Love
I love you.
Yeah.
man.